INEOS and Dave Brailsford already working on transfers ahead of the summer. We know the priority is the outs, and about 15 players have been listed up for sale, with Ericsson, Antony, Wan-Bissaka the latest addition, with some reports saying that Wan-Bissaka will even announce that he's leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. There's also updates on Branthwaite, Tosin, Watkins, and a number of names that Manchester United are exploring to sign this summer. So let's get into it. The first story has come out and said that Sir Dave Brailsford is at the heart of executing Manchester United's summer transfer plans amid the delay of Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth. Brailsford has thrust to the forefront of the club's recruitment strategy, engaging in talks with external parties, including clubs representing representatives and agents, with a view to attracting key players identified by United ahead of next season. So what essentially they're saying is, even though Ashworth and Barada aren't in at Manchester United, Dave Brailsford is already at the heart of working on stuff. He's been meeting clubs, he's been having talks, he's identified key targets, and that kind of checks out because now you've got reliable sources saying Elise is someone that Manchester United want, Todibo is someone Man United want, Branthwaite is someone Man United want, and we've been linked to them a lot, but now you've got reliable sources really sort of bringing up a few names that we know are sort of targets and suggestions that Manchester United could be working on these deals. It was said that Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth were still to join. Dave Brailsford is engaged in crucial discussions face-to-face and telephone with various parties in preparation for the summer transfer window. Brailsford's involvement is as a representative of the club ownership and board, with his particular role in recruitment discussions purely aimed at selling INEOS' long-term vision for the club rather than any involvement in the financial side of the deals, which will obviously be led over to Barada when he comes in. So Wilcox is obviously in, and he's having a say on transfer targets and an idea of what he likes, which might be why Manchester United are going to be linked to Tosin now, who looks like he's going to be joining Newcastle, but he's worked with Wilcox in the past. Dave Brailsford is essentially speaking with agents. Obviously, we know he met Benjamin Sesko's agent not that long ago, talking about potential deals. INEOS, have a list of key targets: Elise, potentially Sesko, Branthwaite, Todibo. There's a couple of DMs on there, and Brailsford is obviously meeting agents, meeting representatives, and trying to sell his long-term project, or INEOS' long-term project, for Manchester United. And they've started working on deals. There is reports that there's a meeting going on with Elise at the end of the season. They've got a big meeting with Elise planned. We know that they're willing to offer 55 million for Branthwaite, and wonder if Everton could be swayed because of PSR. We know that Todibo is one that they're going to approach in the summer. We know that once the season's over, I think transfers could move. I'd like transfer news to move a little bit faster. I'd like them to get on with some deals, but you just don't know. Let's continue into the next story here. The next story said this: Wan-Bissaka will join Rafa Varane and Anthony Martial in saying farewell to Old Trafford on Wednesday night. A t-shirt has even been printed in Wan-Bissaka's image with an honour of him lifting the Carabao Cup. Now, this was said by Neil Custis of The Sun, who is just gutter tier 4 journalist that speaks absolute rubbish and does anything for clicks and interactions and has no credibility whatsoever. So it's a bit of a bold statement to say that there's even a t-shirt printed with him and his honour at the back. I mean, to say he's leaving, I understand that. To say he will be leaving and he'll be doing a farewell and they're going to be announcing it, it's a bit strange, because we don't know anything about it from any other sources. It's like he's jumping the gun. But according to Neil Custis, Wan-Bissaka will basically say bye-bye at Old Trafford on the weekend and have a t-shirt printed with him lifting the FA Cup. I think he's got 1 year left on his contract, and there's no bids, and United haven't announced anything. So I probably think that he's lying. I think that he probably will leave this summer, but I doubt we'll see Wan-Bissaka with an image of him lifting the Carabao Cup, if I'm going to be honest with you. It was then said by David Ornstein, because Bruno Fernandes has been linked to leaving Manchester United, that Manchester United have met Bruno Fernandes last week to discuss his future, with the club making clear they want him to stay and the midfielder expressing a desire to remain at Old Trafford. Fernandes and his entourage joined members of United's football leadership team at Carrington for lengthy conversations, during which it was underlined that the INEOS-led regime intend to continue building around its captain. So again, there's a lot of rumours of Bruno Fernandes leaving. He's been linked to Saudi, but there's no way he's going to go to Saudi. If he leaves Manchester United, it's because he wants to go somewhere with ambition. He wants to win trophies. And I think his sort of desire is to stay at Old Trafford if he thinks they're going to be competitive in keeping. If INEOS can sell the long-term project, I think they could keep Bruno at Old Trafford. But I think Bruno knows he's getting to 29. He wants to win major trophies. And while I would not sell Bruno Fernandes, you can't blame him for wanting to leave United. Rob Dawson did say that Fernandes is not trying to force his way out of United, but at 29, he is keen to be successful as possible during the final years of his career, which makes absolute sense. Manchester United have been in a rebuild for about 5 years and not really won anything other than the Carabao Cup, and Bruno Fernandes is a better player than that. And you can't blame him if he does want to leave United and potentially push for a move, but I think INEOS are going to do what they can to try and keep him. Continuing on, let's talk about some outs and some ins. So these are the ins, and then we'll get into the outs. In regards to the ins, it was said that Manchester United are interested in Tosin Adebayo and are keen to speak to the defender when Fulham contract expires in the summer. Tosin is one of a number of centre-backs Manchester United looking at. Newcastle and AC Milan also keen. He did reject Tottenham. He has been in advanced talks with Newcastle. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that, and it looks like he's going to go Newcastle. But with Rafael Varane leaving United and it being announced, and obviously Jason Wilcox's connection with the player and Manchester United wanting 2 centre-backs, and this is a Premier League proven centre-back that can be a bench option for free, it could happen. The other question is he wants to play regular football. Newcastle have Botman, Shah and Lascelles basically out injured till Christmas. He will be a starter at Newcastle. He might go to Newcastle for the guarantee of starting, whereas at United, I think they sign him and somebody else, and the somebody else they sign starts with Martinez next season, and he's more of a Lindelof replacement because Varane will go, and I think one of Lindelof and Maguire will go, and he'll be replacing Lindelof essentially. Talking of main centre-back United want to sign, Branthwaite and Todibo have been the 2 most heavily linked, and we know that Manchester United absolutely love Branthwaite, but they're not going to spend more than 60 million on a position this summer with about 6 positions to address. And it was said by Chris Wheeler that United are prepared to offer 55 million for Everton centre-back Jarrad Branthwaite, but Everton are going to want around 70 million. Maybe a deal can be struck in the 60 million mark range, but I think United know we're not going to spend 80 million on a centre-back when we've got to bring in a striker, a DM, another midfielder, a fullback. We've got to do this, we've got to do that. So yeah, that was obviously said on Branthwaite. I think that United will make a bid for him this summer. I think United will go in from this summer, but I think unlike the past with Omar Barada coming in, I think if Everton start demanding too much, United will walk away and go for other targets, which is why I think Todibo might take a little bit longer than people think. I think Todibo is back up if Branthwaite's out of budget from what I'm hearing. It was then said that United want to bring in at least 1 centre-back, a defensive midfielder and a striker if their budget can stretch this summer, and that was said by Chris Wheeler. They also want to bring in a right winger and a left-back. Ideally, they want 1 good centre-back, 1 decent striker, 1 decent defensive midfielder, a left-back and a right winger. I think they need 2 midfielders. I think they need 2 centre-backs. I think they need a left-back. I think they need a right winger. I think they need a striker. I think they need 7 additions. I think realistically, if they sell, well, they could do 7 additions, but I think realistically they can bring in 5 if they spend smartly. If they don't go and spend like 90 million on Branthwaite and blow the budget on 1 position, which is something that Manchester United often do, I think that they can easily probably bring in 5 key areas. But I feel like Manchester United only seem to make 3 key signings every summer. They need to be a bit smarter. The way I see it is Fofana. Oh, that's just glitched. Fofana won't be available for like 25 million because he's got 1 year left on his contract, whereas Amadou Onana could be 60 million, and there's not too much between them other than one's one a little bit younger and Premier League proven and a little bit taller. Is he worth the extra 30 million more? That'll be the question you'll be asking. Now, let's talk about the striker move, because it's very obvious that Manchester United want to sign a striker. It's said that Manchester United are considering an audacious move for Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins. Watkins fits the profile of a proven centre-forward United want to bring in to support and help develop Rasmus Højlund. However, it could be a difficult deal for Manchester United to do. So Manchester United would love a player like Ollie Watkins, experienced, Premier League proven, could score goals, perfect support striker for Rasmus Højlund. It won't happen because they don't have more than 50 million to spend on a striker, and the fact that he's got the most goal contributions in Europe this season, he will cost more than 50 million. And also, if he goes to United, he won't be as good because he won't get the service. I think United would like a Watkins. I think Tony realistically could be a bit of a better option because he'll be a little bit cheaper, and his back to goal plays a little bit better. And United needs someone that isn't going to rely on service as much because we provide no service. But can't see Watkins happening, but I can see why INEOS would like him. It ticks all of INEOS' boxes as well: homegrown, domestic proven. It was also said that Manchester United have made Antony available for transfer this summer. Manchester United do want to sell Antony. The question mark is, does anyone want to buy Antony? Don't think so. I think he'll probably stay because no one wants to buy him. And then it was also said that Manchester United made Christian Eriksen available for transfer. I expect Christian Eriksen to leave Manchester United. I think he wants to leave because he wants to play regular football. He knows he's not in the long-term plans. He knows he's sort of past it. and I think he's willing to take a wage cut to do that. I think Casemiro and Eriksen will leave. I'm not sure if Antony will leave because I don't think there'll be offers for Antony. I think McTominay would only leave if Man United got in a big offer, but I think they might keep him. I think Wan-Bissaka will probably leave, but I don't think it's, oh, he's going to announce he's leaving with a shirt at the end of the season like Newcastle, the Sun is saying. And I think in terms of transfers, I think Brailsford is working on transfers right now. He's had meetings with Sesko's agents. He's meeting Elise's agent reportedly. I think United are well and truly working on transfers. Anyway, that is your news summed up in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.